we can be smug and know that whilst there's all the, the rah-rah people, rugby union and stuff like that, we can just feel, not smug, but we can feel happy that we know about this thing, and that's amazing. And if Denny Solomon doesn't want to play rugby league anymore, then good luck to the lad, let him go. I just think it's all...
I don't say good luck to him because of the way he's gone about it. I don't say good luck to him because of the way he's gone about it. I don't think he's gone about it in a good way.
No, I think as a person he's done it in entirely the wrong way. But good riddance then, and he's not irreplaceable.
Do we want people like
he's not
that?
Ellery Hanley. He's not, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's had one good year, and maybe that year was the outlier in his career.
Well, he had a good year the year before when he did play, but it wasn't an automatic choice, was it? That's enough, doesn't it?
Let's say that Denny Solomon stays and plays rugby league for 12 years. Who's to say that 2016 wasn't the outlier, and then he goes on to have a fairly average to poor career where he scores 10 tries a year or whatever? Who's to say that isn't the outlier? I'm telling you now, Denny Solomon doesn't stay within rugby league and then go on to light up the NRL or score 40 tries a season for Castleford for 5 years. Absolutely not. That was him at his peak. And he benefited from some really good supply and some really good training and then his own ability. And I don't think that all dovetails in every single year.
So 1 to 10. 10 being the worst and 1 being the worst. 10 being the worst, yeah.
Well, so what? Let's say Hitler's a 10, Denny Solomon is a 3. His behaviour's shite, but we'll all get over it. And there's other great wingers out there.
I'd have him at a 5.
You say solid 5?
6, yeah.
I'm bored of him.
Fair enough.
Off he goes.
Well, let's move on then.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I can see why he's garnered so much ire from the Castleford fans. Who the hell is Sean Balzac, Mark?
I don't know who Sean Balzac is, but it's one of the names Frogmore was using for a while. So we've got the run of Frogmore questions now. Cool. So I'll start with the first one. Are Christmas carols the sonic spawns of Satan? Satan.
Satan?
Whatever.
Do you think he meant Santa?
No, he meant Satan.
Right. No, of course they're not. They're well, the majority of them are precisely the opposite, aren't they?
The answer's just no, and then his next question is, if we had a World Club Challenge, but for boxing, so basically Australian Rugby League boxer against British Rugby League boxer, who would you have representing Super League against Paul Gallen?
Well, I don't know who boxes in Super League, but if I was going to I'd put Mickey Mack in there, I think.
Ooh, he
likes to chuck a punch.
That's a good shout. Or Bateman, actually, come to think of it.
Gypsy Jock, yeah. He would go in you'd think he was undersized, but I think it'd take a lot for Gal to put John Bateman down.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Certainly, if you made it MMA, you'd get more out of one of them, I think. Than a more sort of static puncher, like Gallen. Yeah.
But I think you put someone like that, or someone who's a bit just to see it happen. Benny Westwood, someone like that who likes to, maybe he could get a bit of a kick in.
He doesn't punch forwards. Benny Westwood.
No, that's true. No, that's
back's
true.
On the floor. What about?
Fine, Ben Flower then.
He's another one who doesn't punch forwards. There's 2 of them.
No, I'd send Mickey Mack in.
Moz was my thought.
Yeah,
I think
even now,
stand toe to toe with it and really go at it.
Many people he couldn't.
Yeah. That'd be where I go with it.
Adrian Moore. There you go. So you've got a couple of choices. You can let us know then, Wally, who you want. We've got John Baton, Michael McAlorum, or Adrian Morley. You can pick one of them 3, and we'll confidently put him in against Gal.
Okay. Right. Do you like having a white Christmas, or would you prefer it in the summer like it is in God's country?
Right. Well, it tends to be quite snowy in Yorkshire as well, Wal. So I'm not really sure what you're getting at there.
And God doesn't exist, but that's another podcast for the future.
Yeah, that's not one that you and I would co-host, given that I'm a man of considerably more faith than you heathen. But no, Christmas has got to be white, hasn't it?
Well, it doesn't have to be.
Well, according to...
to be honest, I'd like a white Christmas. We haven't had one in about 6 years.
Yeah, to be honest with you, what we get is like a dreary, drizzly 5 degrees Celsius
It was quite warm. It was like 9 degrees on Christmas Day.
I had a T-shirt on going out for my Christmas dinner walk today, on Christmas Day. It's been unseasonably mild. But I'd find it disconcerting if it was like, red hot.
I'm happy with Christmas in winter and all our traditions we have that go along with that, the log fire and wrapping up warm and
absolutely
all of that sort of stuff. And the fact that our Northern Hemisphere Western view of Christmas is what's shoved down the rest of the world's throat through the media is
it's partly our fault. That
is okay by me because that's how I feel. I don't know. Plus, any friends I know that have moved to Australia. are always on Facebook bitching and whinging about like being so sweaty and warm and it being too hot around the Christmas time. And
there's so many other things you could complain about Australia over as well. So if that's all that they've got to whinge about, then.
No, I just think but we're not moaning that it's too cold ever at Christmas. Like it's the one time of the winter we don't moan if it's too cold. We don't freak out if it snows. We don't care because we're all off anyway.
Yeah,
and you get to have a bit of fun with the family. So no, I'm a white Christmaser.
Me too, definitely.
This next simply one. Do you love me?
Well, to coin the phrase of a popular song, I don't love anyone. But that's not true. I love your contributions, Wal.
Yeah, I enjoy him rather than love him.
I've enjoyed many people that I haven't loved.
Yeah.
So you're in that category. What's the next one?
Should his questions have been rugby league related?
No, in fact, it makes for a better episode, so bravo.
Then the next one is his second rugby league related one of them.
Yeah, well, the next two are rugby league related.
Anyone else looking forward to Mamo versus Flower? # loose units.
Well, I didn't really know a great deal about. Is it Jake Mamo?
Yeah.
Is he a bit unhinged?
He had a scrap in a like high profile New South Wales Cup or Queensland Cup game, I think.
Right.
So, something like that. He had a scrap in one of those, and that's about it. For all I know about him, I don't know anything else about his rep. And then Ben Flower, of course, has only ever had 2 incidents that anyone has ever witnessed, 3 years apart, or whatever they were, 2 years apart, 3 years apart, 2 years apart. And then outside of that, in the other, 6 seasons of his rugby league career, has had no incidents whatsoever. So I don't know if either of them are loose.
I think Jake Mamo probably
on the factual information to hand, Tom.
I think Jake Mamo is probably just looking forward to coming over and winning 3 to 4 games more a year than he's been used to playing at Newcastle. So we'll certainly
might not get that at Huddersfield next year.
I'm sure Huddersfield will win 3 to 4 games next year. He might not be playing.
He was a relatively prolific and exciting prospect as a young winger. I've never really seen him deliver as a fullback, personally. I don't see that as... But Huddersfield definitely needed one because they'd lost everyone that could play there.
That's it. So now he'll probably got plenty of game time. Okay, the last frog. Oh, see, he's changed. He was Sean Balzac, but now we're getting to Frogmore.
Yeah, so he is saying...
Frogmore.
Will Quinlan single-handedly bring Hull KR back to the Super League? He said. Then he answers it with yes.
Well, no, he won't do it single-handedly because you'll have to get him on the pitch for a kick.
That's exactly what my point was as well. He's never managed.
So it depends on which games he's on the pitch for. If he's on there against like London and Halifax and Fev and other high-performing Championship teams, then brilliant. But if he's only fit for like Swinton away, then it hardly seems worth it, does it?
He's never played more than 15 games in a season. If those 15 games are the first 15 games, like they've more commonly been than the last 15 games in his career, then he ain't gonna play enough in the important games.
KR have enough to get themselves.
Yeah.
Well, certainly they will be in the middle eight.
They should be.
Whether or not they kick on and go up, I don't know.
They should be. When
a lot of things have to happen, so I don't know that KR will definitely go up, but will certainly be middle eights. And then you've got to see. And if Quinlan's fit going into the middle eights, then he's certainly a high enough calibre player to make a difference in that sphere. But if he rolls out of bed wrong one morning and does his cruise shit, then
oh, you get away with it. Yeah.
I hope he's on pay by your play. Look at that, sanjaor.com. Well, we did a bit of mixing and matching, and we played matchmaker with these guys, didn't we? sanjaor.com got in touch and said, who will Ledrak miss most, Todd Carney or Dave Taylor? Oh, and can we please have the name of our season review guy, please? Because
SAG-AOR is a forum for Catalan fans, an online forum for Catalan fans.
Yes.
So giving them that plug. But
because Alan Walker did a phenomenal job doing their season review as well.
And throughout the year.
Of course. Who will Ledrak miss more, Todd Carney or Dave Taylor? Do you know what? I think they might miss Dave Taylor more. Look at your face.
Well,
I think I didn't see enough. Like given their overall levels of contribution, I didn't get enough from Todd Carney for what he could be. But Dave Taylor sort of made me eat my words a little bit. There were times with him when he was the fat touchy a little bit, but actually, my overall kind of memory of Dave Taylor at Catalan is of him barrelling into people and carrying 3 or 4 people.
And taunting the referee with the ball when he scored that try.
Well, yeah, exactly, which was hilarious. But I think he's, in terms of the metres and the metres after contact and what he brought to the pack, I think he's a harder replacement than Todd Carney. I think you can get, and obviously Todd Carney's a rep half, but I think you can replace him more easily in terms of someone who can come in and do a serviceable, similar job. I'm not saying that there's rep halves out there of the same standard, but I think someone can come in and kind of fill his boots a bit more easily than you're necessarily going to get from the impact of someone like Dave Taylor. So for me,
the impact of 25 minutes and 1 in a million of his plays comes off, or 1 in a dozen, shall we say, of his plays comes off. He was very wasteful at times when he decided to take everything on his own shoulders. I found.
But I think in terms of like...
Right, well, as we can tell, I disagree.
Yeah, so which is fine. No, I think Dave Taylor's a harder replacement. I'm not saying that either of them are particularly hard to replace, mind you, but I think he's the harder one.
The stats would suggest that they'll miss Carney more. He saw a 30% better win rate for the Catalans when he played to when he didn't in 2016. They scored more points and conceded fewer at an average of basically 1 converted try a game was the difference that occurred with Todd Carney on the pitch compared to when he wasn't on the pitch. Now with Taylor,
oh fuck you can prove anything with stats.
They won the same amount of games with him as percentage of games with him as they did without him. They scored more when he was there, but also conceded more when he played. So the net wasn't as successful as the net when Carney wasn't playing to when he was. I think Taylor's more replaceable. He's inconsistent. He's not an 80-minute player, and Catalans were so scratchy last year, and they were relying on nonsensical bits of play when really what they want is a consistent take off Casti and bring on Ferriol sort of manoeuvre that they would have had in the past.
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking for from them. Whereas Carney's a far classier player than what he's been replaced by in Luke Walsh. They've actually replaced Carney, who was steady and then at times exceptional. He was never terrible, with someone who is steady but at times terrible and at times really good.
I think perhaps my expectation of Carney was that he would be more of a worldie than he showed during his time at Catalan, and that's sort of brought him down in my estimations of it.
So I think what you're doing is you're putting your perceptions of what you wanted him to be.
Yeah.
It's like when people said Sam Tompkins was a failure in the NRL because he wasn't the best fullback in the NRL, when actually that year he was arguably the 3rd best fullback in the NRL in his first season at the Warriors.
Yeah.
Certainly in the top 4, which puts him in the top quarter of fullbacks in the NRL that year, yet he wasn't the best, and he was paid as much as the best should be paid. So people think he was shit because he wasn't amazing, and I think that's what you're doing with Carney here.
Possibly so.
Yeah.
Possibly so. So, that was my question from the sections.
Yeah,
who's been in touch with us next, Mark?
Colin Render. He just says, and this seems to be his... He's
quite bossy, really, in these questions, isn't he?
The first one is just Scott Moore discuss. I think it had attached to it the screenshot of the ex-missus of Scott Moore laying into him on social media, which everyone will have seen or can go and find to read, so we're not going to go through all that. But basically, Scott Moore appears to have been sacked by Wakefield after having a fight in Wigan and just continually not being the person that he should be and being the player that he could be.
There's not a lot to discuss. It's frustrating from my point of view when you see people who've got all the physical and innate gifts required to be a professional rugby league player piss it away a little bit, and that's what Scott Moore's done.
He's a human being who's wasted a rugby league talent.
Yeah, exactly.
All the off-field personal stuff and all that sort of stuff. I mean,
stuff like that's of no interest to me. I'm not surprised.
People fight.
People get upset and surprised when young sportsmen with a bit of money are drawn to kind of not necessarily have the best moral compasses. Well, of course they're young men.
I mean, if his ex's social media post is legit, he's obviously a questionable character. Things that we've seen and have gone before suggest he's obviously of questionable character. I just wonder if he's ran out of chances now. I'm amazed that he's had as many
There's a lot
as he's
of
had,
clubs,
but he's
a lot of
so
options.
talented, and he could have been something brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's the shame of it. That's the shame of it.
Yeah. Okay. Colin Render.
So it'll be at Lee, won't you, by the end of the season?
Do you reckon? Do you seriously? No. In also, I know you're taking the piss, but in